All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome here to another show here, Project 77, where we get to the bottom of some of these matters of facts, and a lot of assumptions is just made butts out of all of us. So, what we're doing here today is we're just doing some reaction videos. Probably ain't going to spend, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes maybe at the most. And we're going to figure out some of this all together, because that's what we're doing here at Project 77. I was on just a second ago, and as soon as I said, "Hey, good evening, everybody. How you doing?" Boom. Oh, how should the internet power blinked? Everything went off. So here we are back. All right. So let's pull this up here on the stage now. We'll set the mark here. This has to do with they're just going to some. This is at Georgia Tech. They're going to some colleges around the place here, and this guy does a little media show. I don't watch him that much. I run across him every once in a while. He's just asking a topic, and these are just topics that are at hand, that are as a matter of facts right now. Just seeing where we are as people, and this voter thing and voter ID and the lies that are being told about that. So we need to figure out what's really going on. So let's hit the play button and we'll listen in here and see what he's got to say. And let me change I had all this set up. I mean, I had it going, and boom, power went off. So I got to start all this over. So let's hit the play here.
We're asking students, what do they think about requiring to show an ID when people go to vote? It's a big topic that's being discussed right now. Do you have an opinion about that?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but as with anything with this current administration, there are way too many ways it could be abused. I would rather.
All right. Way too many ways that people having to show their ID could be a problem. Hey, look, I asked the questions here, okay? Y'all quit pointing your finger at me. I'm just asking questions. What do you think too? These are topics that we'd like to bring up and talk about. I can give my opinion, but I don't think it's a big deal to show ID, because you got to show ID if you want to drink alcohol, buy a pack of cigarettes, if you want to go to a music place, if you want to go get a job, if you need a tag for your car, if you're a normal citizen of the United States, then you got to have an ID. Right.
Rather implement a change like that once we have a different president.
How do you think that the current administration can abuse whatever new reform they do?
I believe it will be used to roll back the 19th Amendment in some loophole-esque ways.
Okay, 19th Amendment. So what is she talking about? So let's just, I had all this pulled up here just to make sure that everybody understands what it is, because there's a lot of information that's being passed by, and people don't even know. I've asked people when they thought the Vietnam was, and they said 1918 Vietnam. When it was the Civil War, right? 1970. So 19th Amendment set rail for 1920, that the Constitution prohibits the federal government and states from denying the right to vote off the basis of sex. So she's saying, by her words, that asking for ID is going to deny women the right to vote. The text is, the right of citizens in the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on the account of your sex. Okay. And this happened really in it passed in August of 20, but 1919 was kind of when it went down. That's when a lot of the legislative type stuff had happened, and we could get into other things about, but this is what she's saying: women's rights to vote. She's going to lose her right to vote because they ask her for ID.
Because married women who have changed their surnames technically fall under that loophole. It will also.
Now, what she's saying is that these married women, like my wife and your family, your mother, they all went and changed their name. Got to go to the DMV, take your birth certificate and your license, and you go down there, and probably takes about 30 minutes, and then they'll send it to you in the mail. And you can change your ID, birth certificate, and everything. Mine did it. Your mom's, everybody did it. So what you talking about?
Will be used to continue the genocide of trans people in the country, because obviously trans people who have changed their names fall under that as well. I just think it's not worth it. It's not going to help stop the supposed illegal voting that is not happening in the first place.
Okay, now we know that's not true. We can look at that in a minute here. With Fulton County and stuff that the FBI found, tens of thousands of unsigned votes, no images with at least 22,000 votes. So that's not true. So, gosh, you said a lot right there. That trans women, so men that want to be girls, you're going to lose your right to vote because you're changing your name also because you want to identify as, then you go down to DMV and you just change your name. I guess people that think they're a lot smarter are really assuming that everybody else is really dumb. I don't think people's that stupid. There are people out there, but this girl, for sure, she knows that you just go down to the courthouse, go down to the DMV, and get any of that stuff changed, whatever you need. And it don't hinder. They give us statistics. Well, 28 million ladies out there is going to be changing their name, Ron. And this could affect voters for all people, even colored people out there, because they're poor and they're black and they don't even know how to go down and get that's so racist. I'm fixing to show you a clip of old Shumey right here being racist like he always has been, using minorities. This girl's been lied to. She's taking running points that she hears, half truths, which is a lie. If it's got a spoonful of poo in the pie, it's a doo-doo pie. It's either right or it's wrong. And that's what I'm here to do, is pass along this truth. That's why I started this thing, this Project 77 thing. 77 was the year I was born. And being in education and going through college and working with youth, I've always been passionate about young people having their opportunity to find out what truths are, because the only real truth is His Word through the Bible. But you have to journey along this life, and we don't always look at the Bible all the time like we should. Unfortunately, I have to deal with people like this. You're going to hear stupid stuff like this. So I want y'all to know what she's saying. It's not real.
And it is just going to hurt people in an effort to suppress a problem that was never a problem in the first place.
Would you say it's
right? It's never been a problem in the first place, because we've always you just get your ID, and if you want to go buy a pack of cigarettes, or if you want a cool tattoo and go down to the tattoo store, then you got to have ID. Most places. Now, I know some young kids that do have tattoos, and but you know what I mean. It's not nothing that shouldn't be anything that's any different than it ever has been. Just show your ID. We don't care if you're pink, purple, green, yellow, or an alien. If you got an ID, passport, whatever it is, then you can vote. But if you don't, you're not a legal citizen. So why would you want to vote? Because there's more to it. And they act like we don't know.
pretty basic, and majority of the students here have an ID?
Yeah, the
Yes.
students here, but I don't think this is a representation of minority populations. It's
You-
for tech.
Do you think it's a struggle for minorities to obtain an ID in order to participate in elections?
I can see how that could be a point. Yeah.
Why? Because you're poor? You can't have a license? Now, if you're a felon, you've been in trouble, then you'd lose your right to vote. So just because you're poor don't mean you're stupid. God, they have there's no way they could sleep at night. This party of people have told these people crap for so long, and their parents believed it, and then they're telling their kids, these rich white liberal people living in their uppity townhouses, if you're poor, you're stupid. They'll never figure out how to get an ID.
How is it a point? Maybe you can take me through it.
That's racist.
I don't know. Once I was at
It's sexy.
the post office trying to get my passport, and the family in front of me, their ID was expired, and they couldn't explain one thing because like they couldn't get their rent from one thing, and it seemed like this big old mess. And it seems like everything's very intertwined and connected, income wise. So I wouldn't necessarily say like minorities. I'd just say like income wise, it's harder to get certain things.
Is it mainly
So if you're poor, you can't get ID.
because it's tied to an income issue?
Yeah, if you can't pay for your rent and that makes you not be able to get your ID, then yeah.
Do you know how much it costs, for example, in Georgia to get your ID? Have you guys voted in the past? Okay, so when you went and voted, you just pulled out your ID, right?
$45.
So some people are opposed to that. Do you guys think it's a good thing? It's necessary?
Not super knowledgeable. Like, what can you tell me about why people are against it?
Sure. So the political spectrum is split on it because some say that minorities, for example, don't necessarily know how to get an ID, can't afford an ID or something like that. That's what we hear from the left. The right is more like, hey, this just stops any potential fraud or something like that.
I mean, I think it's important for everyone to be identified when they're voting, right? But I also think that there shouldn't be any barriers to voting. So, I mean, I think I would have to research a little bit more before I said, yes, I'm for it or yes, I'm against it. But my general feeling is like voting should be accessible to anybody who's able to. So I would say,
But we got to make sure that, the person is who he says he is, that he's eligible to vote, right?
and you can't like
Oh, you mean like those people in Minnesota that set up the blockade there? You mean they're stopping people? They've built a trading post to stop you and ID you to see if you're from that area right there in Minnesota. And if you're not welcome. Oh, so they're protesting about letting in people that don't belong by setting up their own wall blockade barrier against people that don't belong. Okay, yeah.
vote twice and everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if I could say yes or no.
What is so hard about getting an ID, for example?
Have you ever been to the DMV?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It sucks, right?
We all
So
have.
it's a time commitment for one, and also having
I just went and got my license updated, and it was actually only 15 minutes.
that's not bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not everyone has the same experience. Also, having to actually get to the DMV.
You can do it online too now, so you can.
If you don't have access to online, then it's
Who don't have access to online? Would you shut up? That's stupid. Shut up. What if they don't have internet? They live out in the middle of Amazon and they can't get ID. Poor old Roger at West Virginia in the hill. Shut up. That's stupid.
Or a car to get to the
So it's an argument that certain groups don't have access to the internet to get an ID.
Let's not just the internet, but the resources, whether the resource be the internet, transportation, or even just the time and the energy to fulfill.
So it's not worth the time or the energy to, okay, I got you. It's not worth the time or the energy to go down to the DMV and to get your license so you can vote. Okay. I can dig it. I understand now. It's all beginning to make more sense. Let's see here. Let's go back over here, and we're going to talk about the old, which one is this? Oh, it's So Shoe Me, baby. Oh, Okay. Put this here, share screen there. Chuck Schumer here spiraling over an ID enforcement that Jake Tapper stopped him dead in his tracks with some data. So let's just, numbers don't lie. So let's just go over here and hit the old play button and see what old Chucky baby has to say. This man and his party have represented the backfall, the struggle that minorities from all over that leads the Democratic Party, the Schumer clan, and that's with 3 Ks. It's the Schumer clan. This is what they do. They gaslight people into believing some of their ideologies. And when in actuality, they're making fun of these people and using them. Let him explain. Let him use his own words.
Near them and intimidating them.
About 83% of the American people, including majority Democrats, support voter ID laws.
Oh,
Yeah, the voter ID laws that first.
Okay, let's see. So 3/4 of just even Democrats or just American people in general, those people support that you would just ID yourself. You don't have to be fancy. Just ID yourself when you go vote. That's all we're saying.
Each state can have its own voter ID laws, and some do and some don't.
No, I don't know about that now, because what we just read it. Let's go back to it, because we just talked about the 19th Amendment. And it says the 19th Amendment was a crucial step in a broader women's rights movement, okay? That is to guarantee a woman the right to vote, ending legally sanctioned gender-based discrimination. The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on any account of, it don't matter. So I don't.
Yeah, the voter ID laws that first, each state can have its own voter ID laws, and some do and some don't. But
so a state could say, well, we don't want women to vote. We're going to repeal the 19th Amendment. Well, it's the state. He just said that states can make their own laws. So they either can or they can't, Chucky.
secondly, what they are proposing in this so-called SAVE Act is like Jim Crow 2.0. They make it so hard to get any kind of voter ID that more than 20 million legitimate people, mainly poorer people and people of color.
Oh, okay. So
any kind of voter ID that more than 20 million legitimate people, mainly poorer people and people of color, will not be able to vote under this law.
What you talking about, Willis?
Did he just say what I think he said?
Poorer people and people of color will not be able to vote under this law.
Voter ID is a must. We're not stupid. The black community, we're very intelligent. And yes, we have identification. So please stop it, Ray. We have birth certificates. You need an ID to get into different places, from private sectors to public sectors. Even when you apply for a job, you got to have ID. Yep. So enough with the noise and stop using the black community.
Birth certificate, marriage license. Pass the SAVE Act, dummies.
Said that voter ID is Jim Crow 2.0. So he suggested that it's racist. Now, being as though we live in a society where ID is required for so many different things, why is it only problematic or racist in regards to voting? And why do black people keep allowing them to suggest that you're too dumb and too poor and too incapable and too damn stupid to go down to your local DMV and get an ID or a driver's license? So if voter ID is racist, then asking for ID at the bank has to be racist also. Because you need an ID to open a bank account. You need an ID to enroll your children in school and daycare. You need an ID when you get a new job. Employers ask for ID from new hires. You need an ID to sign up for welfare. You need an ID to get on a plane. You need ID to walk inside of a federal building. And it's a million other things that there are ID requirements for. Why is it that voting is the only thing? This is the only argument that they can make, is that voter ID is racist. That's how you know it's bullshit. If ID is racist, then get rid of ID across the board then. So if the goal is to secure our elections, right? One of the most basic, most common sense steps that you can take is to require ID when you go to vote. It's really that simple. And if you are an adult just walking around living life with no ID and have no ability to obtain one, you probably don't need to be voting anyway.
Yep, I agree. So where do you guys fall on this? ID or not? People, I don't see why it's a big deal. Not at all. I don't see why that would be such a terrible. Well, make it a big deal. Why? Hang on here. Okay, last one here. We'll get off here. All right, this is a little snippet from Glenn Beck here. And he's just talking about the 2020 election here and stuff. He's just sharing what we found out. These are just, anybody can get this stuff. It's not made up. It's not really breaking news. I read this about a week ago. So you can go in there and find it and read it for yourself. And FBI reported on this. And right here at the beginning, he's going to talk about how evidence is kept. And if the chain of the people holding the evidence are, in this case, the people matter of holding votes, if it's broke down in a chain to where we don't know what the machines are, were they zeroed at the beginning of the day or were they not? So, and at the end, what this is really all about, this don't matter, man. It's already been done. That's been 6 years ago. I know it don't matter. The outcome now don't matter. But what does is the reason they're trying, or they have, or have tried to erase history, because they want to take all, anything that's happened here before, they want to take it all away. So we don't look at anything, or, oh no, don't learn anything. Listen to me, the government, listen to me. We're the Democrats. We know everything. Listen to us. So that you have to rely on them. And what it's done, I don't care again about it don't matter now. What does matter is it's a problem. If either side would have done it, this country was founded on the truth and liberty and responsible thinking adults that could disagree on a lot of stuff and still sit down at the end of the day and agree that we had to have freedom of religion and basically the country to be founded on a Judeo-Christian style atmosphere, as we know from the first books, the first Bible they found. I think there's 4 or 5 of them left. He's got one. He's got 2 or 3 of them in his museum or some place he keeps them at. So it's the problem of where we're going. Because if one side does this, which they did, we're going to talk about it for just a minute, then the other side wants to do it to get back at them because nobody's grown up enough to just disagree and just walk away. Most people are not that bright or educated. They'd rather stand there and talk about like people making excuses, reaching over their head to wipe their butt, conversations like you have, like you're in 6th grade on PE or something, that kind of stuff. So he's just talking about how important it is to have this stuff laid out and how the votes and stuff have to be protected.
When you gather evidence, you have to know who had that evidence. That's one of the problems with the Epstein files. What's the chain of custody? You had all the evidence. Whose hands were on that? You have to know. And if the chain of custody breaks, then you can't rely on that being reliable anymore. You can't count that as reliable information because you don't know how it got from this place to the next place. Okay. The next thing they found was the missing tabulator tapes. This is really important because election law requires daily zero tapes. What that means is it's a check to prove the machine starts at 0. It requires closing tapes to document the total at the day's end. Okay. So it proved it was at 0, and then it proves that this is the number of votes that came in. According to testimony cited in the report, more than 100 required tabulator tapes representing about 315,000 early votes weren't signed or weren't signed properly. State investigators say they couldn't locate the required 0 tapes for early voting on many machines. What? You can't what? Now, the report concludes that the statute requires accounting and chain of custody records, but they don't exist in the entirety of early voting. Okay, well, that's a really big failure. Then the last problem is the math problem.
Yes.
The math problem, the county records reportedly show 148,318 absentee ballots counted. Yet, again, this is going to be hard to do. I'm going to give you time so you can work out the math on this. You had only 125,785 voters. 148,000.
So 148,000 votes were taken in for the area there. But there's only 120 some odd thousand registered voters. So where did the other 25,000 come from? That's just one part of it. You can go back and watch this from the start.
Votes cast, but only 125,000 people showed up to vote. So what? That's a pretty big gap. More than 22,000 ballots in a race that was decided by 11,779 votes. After multiple certifications, the counts didn't match one another. Now, here's where this becomes serious, way beyond politics.
Now, what he's going to say is what I don't agree with everything. We don't agree with. Why is it a big deal if we don't all agree on everything? Who cares? Can you not be manly enough and not have to be feminine and just like you have to agree on everything? Oh, girl, let's talk about it. And well, we don't agree on that, so we're not going to get along anymore. We're not friends. I'm not talking at the playground. Dude, be a man. We just don't agree on stuff. So what? God, man, we got to get over that. There's too many dudes being raised by too many women, and they're just weak-minded. And some of them just soft anyway. They just don't have they just want to be right. That's all it is. But what he's going to say is huge in what my whole point to this whole video, my voter ID and getting opinions of young people and what they think about it. To Chuck Schumer saying that poor people are stupid and they can't get an ID. So we need to make it where they don't have to have ID to vote, but they have to have an ID to go to the store and get a pack of cigarettes, or if they want to go to a concert, or if they want to if you want to deposit your check online, you got to show your ID. It's stupid. We all know, guys, we know what you're doing. You have to have ID to do everything. But what he's going to say is it's going bad. No matter what side you're on, it's just wrong. And to be a constitutional democracy, there has to be something to fall back on. And when both the teams kind of quit rabbling with each other and turn to look at the ref and go, he's cheating both of us. It's a problem.
Philip Stark, he does stats. He's from Berkeley. So I would say Philip Stark, he does stats. He's from Berkeley. So I would say he's probably not a conservative. He came in and he reviewed all of the aspects of the process. Here's what he didn't do. He didn't say this is widespread fraud, but he did say there are real reasons to distrust the election outcome. He found machine counts and audit tallies disagreed substantially, even about the number of ballots that were cast. He wrote that some ballots, listen to this, appeared to be included at least twice in the original counts and multiple times in recounts. He warned that unreliable ballot marking devices could make recounts a little more than security theater. Those are his words, security theater. That's a little devastating to the trust in the republic and our vote. Because here's the truth. Republics don't crash when one side loses. Republics collapse when half the country believes the referee is unreliable. And that's what's happening. We don't believe the referee. This is why the position of Pam Bondi is so important. And she seems to be doing a good job on this one. Because historically, 1876, we just recovered from the Civil War. And we almost lost the Union post-Civil War in 1876, Tammany Hall, New York. It operated on ballot manipulation. Reformers came in and they forced structural transparency because it was all garbage, all of it. And everybody knew it. Nations in Latin America, Eastern Europe, why do they spiral out of control? Because their ballot was imperfect? No. They spiral out of control because the citizens lose faith and trust that ballots even mattered.
That's where we're at, man. It's just a matter of fact. That's just where we're at. People start losing their whole identity as, a nation that, I guess, we could talk about, the Kennedy, Trump president being assassinated, Reagan being shot, Trump being shot. And there's people out there today. Did you realize there's people? I just seen somebody just say that Trump had somebody shoot at him and missed him on purpose to get the media to, Okay, man. All right, that's enough for today. I'm going to go in here and talk about some football here in a minute over on Locker Room Sports Talk if you enjoy college sports. But the whole idea of this is just I ask questions, and please also ask questions. And ask me if I can't answer. We'll get on somewhere and we'll find some place we can get enough information together, I think, pieces of puzzles of all kind of crazy stuff to put something together to have a legitimate adult conversation that we could put enough pieces together, talk about topics like this. And I care about this country. I'm an American one. I don't really even like Trump. Guys, I'm born and raised in Alabama. Hunt, dip, skull, fish, drive fast, and, go to dirt track race. I don't have anything in common with a guy like Donald Trump, but because of, politics and people playing grab tail, we was left no choice. I mean, we had to have somebody with some kind of business competence to run the country, because it sure ain't no way we was voting for no Harrison Walls. Are you crazy? He's a pedophile. He's a con artist. He's funneled $9 billion to the state. That's the guy you want to run the country? Kamala can't even carry on conversations. She's too drunk all the time, bro. We can see it. So what I'm saying is, I'm not even really a Trump guy. He's a Yankee. He talks too much. Everything that he does has to be, well, you see this here? I designed this pen. It's the best pen ever. Why, dude? Why do you have to say that? Just say I designed the pen. I hope everybody likes it. Jesus Christ, he don't have any Southern good old boy, yes ma'am, no ma'am, because he don't. He's a Yankee. I don't really care for the guy, man. I don't. So I'm not a MAGA. Sure, everybody wants to make America great again. We want it to be when everybody just worked hard towards one goal of making this all a better country, treating everybody how you want to be treated, wave at somebody in town. If they don't like you, oh, well, you'll get over it. But still, we all find humility in each other and through humanity and being kind to each other. That's what it's all about. What are we supposed to do? Just disagree about everything all the time? All the time. It's just going to be a huge problem. The country can't be stable with this kind of instability. There's no way. Because when the refs has got it in for both teams, and that's them, man. It's always been them. Neither one of them are really that great anyway. They don't understand us. They don't know how we live. But they lie to you every day. And you turn on the TV and you're looking for something to run away in to get your mind off something because you're stressed about work, you're stressed about life because groceries are high, you ain't got no money. And you're wondering what I'm even going to eat tomorrow. I mean, think about a single mom who got 5 kids or something. Somebody else always has it out there worse. But these people are liars. Stop believing the lies. Scripture commands followers to speak truthfully and put away falsehood. Ephesians 4:25, Colossians 3:9. Consequences for lying are linked to destruction and a severe judgment, such as in the account in Acts chapter 5, 1-11, or about the second death in 21:8. But the character of God cannot lie, Hebrews 6:18. Now, Christians are called to reflect his character by being truthful. And I'm telling you here, that's what I'm here to do. I try to be as truthful as I can and be honest. And we're going to do some of these videos and do some of that sometimes. And I'm just going to play a couple of videos and we'll talk about it. Okay? So the lies they told you, we know it's lies. We've seen the Epstein files and the thousands and thousands of names, people from all over and everywhere. And they've tried to pin our president down. It's embarrassing. Other countries are looking and laughing. The guy called the cops on the guy because he's a freaking fruitcake. He's a weirdo. They said he was hitting on the maid's daughter. a young girl. And Trump's like, who is this guy? What is he doing, man? It's kind of weird. I mean, you come hang out and rub some elbows here and we'll eat some caviar and talk business. And then all this stuff comes out about all these rank, ravaged people. Filthy scumbag demonics, man. It's just terrible. It's filthiness. And of course, we went through the votes there, and you can read about it. You can go find the FBI files and read it all on your own. Make your own assumptions. But there was votes, 600 and some votes for one address. Over 20,000 votes that had not been, the images had not been signed on them. They just came in after. Because when it went off the air that night, they said it's 98% in. And there's, even if one side or another run away with it and got the rest of the votes, there will be no way that Trump could have lost it. That's just what they said. He didn't get in. He didn't get in. So what? Okay, it is what it is. God's will to be done. Okay, and I believe that that's just part of it. He wasn't meant for him to be the president that term. And we had to go through something to appreciate something. But it still don't make it easy. But it's just showing you it's pulled out all this bad stuff and all these rags and all these nasty people and their lies has been pulled out and hung on the line. In the backyard, you see in your next door neighbor's panties over there. And they ain't got up a privacy fence. That's what it's like. And you're like, whoa, what is going on over there? It's bad. It's all lies. And they just make up stuff just to be making up. Don't take my word for it. I'm just asking questions like you are. Some of this stuff, I don't know the answers to everything. Man, I don't. I'm just asking questions like you. I'm just trying to get in where I fit in. And just look it up. Look up Fulton County votes for 2020. You can read it like I did. I'm just like, wow, that's kind of odd. We went to bed saying this person's going to win. You wake up and he lost. And then 20,000 votes appear out of nowhere. And one address had 600 something votes. Wait a minute. What? The machines? What? And then lie to you and tell you that poor minorities are dumb. They can't go get an ID. So we don't need to ask for ID to vote. But you make them ask for ID when you want to go get your power bill turned on in your name. Or if you got a water, you want to get a place to rent, you got to have ID. And like the young man said on the video we just watched, said, if you're walking around without ID, you probably don't need to be voting no way because you ain't got your life together. Yeah, 40 minutes. That's plenty. All right, enough said. See y'all.